Hello, this is Leslie Sanchez in section 6, group number 6, and today I will be doing a presentation in my Animal Science class 67 that is due December 1st, 2021, and it is for allowing GMOs in animal feed. People who contributed to this presentation slide yet are not present to do this presentation are Desiree Reyes, Daniel Ruiz, and Tatum Anaya. So a history of GMOs, it is considered genetic engineering, also known as genetic modification. It is a technological way to transfer desirable genetics to a crop. Not only to a crop, but we are also able to do animal testing in order to modify certain genetics in order to create a cure, grow certain parts of the body or organs, and or create vaccines. So in simple terms, GMOs is a more precise method of plant breeding that creates a product that cannot be achieved through traditional farming methods. And some of these traditional farming methods are farmers themselves obtaining a seed, planting it, growing it, selling it, and just repeating that cycle. Rather than with GMOs, it is a modified seed that has to be obtained by the farmer, by a company. The farmer needs to obtain it by a company and grow it themselves. And because it is GMO seed, that's the only reason why it is able to survive and successfully grow and be sold. A bacteria resistant to the antibiotic kanamycin was the first successful GMO by Herbert Boyer and Stanley Cohen in 1973. So in 1973 was the initiation of GMO procedures, and from then on we have created a significant amount of successful procedures and outcomes that overall benefit us in the long run. Some sociological aspects. Humans play a big role by conducting research on testing GMOs. GMO life starts with the humans, genetically modifying organisms or even multiple organisms. And again, this is not only with crops, it's with animals, etc. GMOs aren't only for animals. Apples are being grown under close observation, applying GMOs to discover what works to enhance a better color of the apples to make them last longer. So this not only allows them to have a longer shelf life, but also appear more appealing to the consumer. So for example, when we go to the grocery store, we always try to find the fruit or vegetable that looks and feels the best. And GMO has been a huge help for the vegetables and fruits in order to create that for their customers. So some cultural and ecological impacts of GMO. So the advancement in biotechnology has really reshaped the future of farming for our world, but it can often leave many wondering, why do we need them? And some of the reasons why is that it minimizes insect damage, minimizes plant viruses, and it minimizes herbicides. It also allows for the production of more food, giving everyone equal access and affordable products for all. And now this helps avoid the Earth's carrying capacity compared to the resources we can get. We are now able to have an abundant amount of food in order to meet our needs, and we don't have to worry about our resources decreasing and the amount of people in the world or the United States increasing. It kind of maintains there, or our resources are higher than the amount of people living. So in countries like the United States, nearly 70 to 80% of processed foods contain GMOs, while others have not yet been ready to take a step into new agricultural technology. So again, this can explain why the US is one of the countries who are known for having large amounts of food, not only as a whole, but even in servings as well. So for example, like in Europe, their servings are very small compared to what we have here in the United States. So some benefits of GMOs that we can see is the nutritional value of foods can be improved. So for example, introducing proteins, vitamins, or vaccines. Vaccines is a really big one right now due to COVID. Thanks to the use of GMOs, we were able to create about three successful vaccines to fight this virus. Unfortunately, they were able to have an age range that fit pretty well, and they made sure that it was something that would benefit us in order to fight this virus. Crops can be produced that lack known allergens. Crops can grow in arid conditions for better yield, and this is an example by introducing drought-resistant genes. And in the state of California, this is very important because we are, for the most part, always in a drought. So in creating crops that have drought-resistant genes, it truly helps us. And the state of California not only has a drought, so therefore has to consider crops that will grow in this drought, but also the state of California feeds a significantly large portion of the United States and perhaps even goes out through the world. So we need to maintain the number of crops growing in our state pretty high, and GMOs really help us in being successful in doing so. So GM crops can produce herbicides to kill pests, improve food supply and agricultural in poor countries. So GM crops can be engineered for improved yields. GM crops may have longer shelf lives, less spoiling, like how I mentioned before. With the apple, the shelf life is much longer. It's more appealing to the consumer, and it's just less waste of resources with if they didn't have GMOs. It wouldn't look as appealing. Their shelf life wouldn't be as long. The time, the money, the labor put into actually growing this crop would just be out the door in the trash. Rather with the GMO, it truly helps kind of, financially and business wise maintain that up there. It also reduces economic costs and carbon footprint, less need for land clearing and pesticide usage. So some current events on GMOs. Catherine Martin and the purple tomato is something that is really trying to benefit us. Kathy is a 66-year-old plant biologist who has spent years studying tomatoes. So while using GMOs, she has designed a purple tomato that has more anthocyanin, which is a natural occurring anti-inflammatory compound. So although this is new and improved tomato, it still needs to go through the FDA approval before hitting the markets. However, it has the twice antioxidants of blueberries, and on her experiments, it has extended the lifespan of cancer-prone mice. So it has truly already demonstrated advantages for us as consumers of this purple tomato. So another current event is modifying mosquitoes. So this is happening in Florida. I believe it started last year, 2020. They're inputting a new strain into mosquitoes, which is the OX513A. It is an alter form of the Aedes aegypti, created by UK-based biotech firm Oxitec. And they're releasing about 750 million male mosquitoes. And it is males because the males are the ones who feed on nectar. Rather than the females, they are the ones who are blood sucking. And they're releasing these modified mosquitoes because they want to reduce the rates of the mosquito-borne illnesses, which is like the yellow fever and the dengue, I believe it is. And something interesting is that when these male mosquitoes that are being released mate with a female, which are blood sucking, and they create an offspring. That offspring stops or unfortunately dies at a certain age in which it is not able to reproduce, and it significantly decreases the rates of the mosquito-borne illnesses, the spread of them. So over the last 10 years of Oxitec deployed these GM mosquitoes in the Cayman Islands and Brazil, and this is the first in the U.S. happening in Florida Keys, which is a small island right below Florida. So reasons to be for GMO. So it improves our health by removing allergens, reducing saturated and trans fats, and enriching nutrients in popular crops and commodities. So things like peanuts, eggs, and wheat. It also improves our environment by breeding crops resistant to disease, drought, and insects. So it allows farmers to reduce pesticides, use and conserve water. So again, really important in the state of California. So we're not only creating crops that are resistant to droughts, we are also conserving water. So farmers are now able to grow crops using very little amount of water because of the genes modified into the crops. And if there ever comes an emergency where they absolutely need water, the use of GMOs has helped them to conserve water to be able to use it whenever it is necessary. So it also eliminates the threat of diseases. It's creating natural immunity and improving the overall health of animals and people without the need of antibiotics. So, for example, in animals, there is a PRRS, which is a devastating illness in swine. It creates reproductive problems and respiratory issues. Unfortunately, with the GMO, it creates a natural immunity and improve overall health of the livestock without the need of antibiotics. And a lot of people, when they send animals or any type of meat to the USDA, there cannot be any form of antibiotics. So this really reduces or minimizes the use of them and the chances of sending perhaps on accident an animal with a little bit of antibiotics. So GMO really helps um, the grower in this situation. And also another example that benefits the health of animals was something that Dr. Gonsi mentioned was a kidney transplant. A kidney used from swine that was used on a person. It was a successful kidney transplant, and fortunately, this person did not have to wait the long wait for a human kidney transplant, and was just thanks to the use of GMO, we were able to create this transplant from a swine kidney to in order to be used for a human. So it improves crop health by saving crops from destructive plant diseases. So for example, like bananas and oranges, and some destructive plant diseases are like wilt fungus, which happens a lot during the winter, and citrus greening. This unfortunately maintains green even when ripe. So for example, an orange, it won't turn that orange color, it will still stay green, and it will either get thrown away or just not consumed at all, which financially on the farmer, this isn't great, and on the consumer, it isn't advantageous either. And unfortunately, diseases like this, there is no cure. So the use of GMOs really helps in avoiding these diseases and creating these crops more successful. So it also reduces food waste by breeding fruits and vegetables with natural resistance to bruising and browning, extending use and shelf life. And again, this is like the apples, potatoes, perhaps even bananas. It really reduces that browning and fast consumption of the vegetable and or fruit. So informed opinion. Based on the information provided, we have come to the same conclusion that using GMO has resulted to be very advantageous. It has allowed us to find cures to several diseases on both animals and human, and allowed us to grow abundant resources. Not only to find cures for several diseases, but also fight viruses like something that we are fighting right now with COVID. We were able to successfully get vaccines that people are now able to get no matter the age, and we know that it is something safe. And it has proven to be an important tool for better sustainability and food security while still improving in its technology. And then here is our works cited, links that we have used in order to complete this presentation. Thank you.